He's like the Wizard of Oz.
Is it the first time you've spoken on this, Tom? Good night.
Tom, is the room open?
The
Yeah,
room
there's
is a practice session, and I believe, are streaming on Grandkids.
Okay.
Yeah, we are.
Hey, Jean.
Hello.
Hi.
I hate that, it's so hard to tell because it says mute and unmute. And when you want to unmute it, it mutes you.
You know what I always do is you can just press Control A. It might be different on a Mac though, because on my computer I hit Control A and
Yeah.
that's the mute and unmute.
All right.
Gene, you got the same, you got a MacBook Pro, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep your icon on the mute thing. Hit it, unmute.
My icon on the mute.
Your cursor. That's the way I do it. I mean, I know there's 20 different other ways. Why, is that too complicated for you, Boba? You know, like
Now
what?
it says mute, but I'm unmuted. I don't know. But you said Control A, Jamie?
Yeah,
Control A. Why would you do that?
that's a keyboard shortcut. It might be
Right.
different on Macs though.
I know.
It is.
I'll
It
ask
is.
him
That's
after this.
way.
Hey, Chris got a haircut. Thank God he's
You're about 10 days too late.
Well, maybe you're just sending out. Maybe that's what it is.
Almost 2 weeks.
You would know, Joe.
That's the second time you've said that to me today.
I mean, you keep saying things like that.
Right, I know. That's true, man.
Was this posted as a workshop?
I don't know how.
I don't think
posted.
I think we don't need a quorum.
No, and Justin's joining us right now. I'm ready to roll anytime you guys are ready to roll.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait.
I'm just gonna double check. Justin, can you hear all of them?
Well, it works better if I turn that on. I can hear it.
Okay. All right. Well then, Joe, I'll just pass the mic over to you and let you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, thank you and good afternoon. Pretty windy out there, I must say. The COVID numbers were interesting today. I like to reference the hospitalizations, which today were reported as 107. I'm not so sure we've been over 100 for a while, maybe a few weeks back, but I guess that's a concerning number. Newport, we reported only one case, which is a good thing, obviously, over the report that I gave last week. We remain at 2% of those tested are positive. The numbers are still, as I've been telling you each week, are still, slightly inconsistent amongst the columns, but I'll take a report of one additional case, at least in terms of the running total, anytime. I think that's pretty bodes well for us, and hopefully I like to think that we're doing something okay down here, like urging people to wear masks and staying with our program on masks. Speaking of masks, I know Justin disappeared, so I hope he'll be back. we continue with the program of utilizing our volunteers, inclusive of Salve students. We probably have handed out over 12,000 masks now, and we'll continue that program until the weather completely turns. But hopefully it's been a successful program thus far, and I suggest to you that it has been. The Take It Outside initiative, you're aware that we were awarded $75,000. We've reached out to a number of to the businesses and got some very good feedback. It's not a heck of a lot of money considering the response that we have. We've developed an application that is going out to all those interested parties to try to determine how we stretch our dollars and help these businesses out. We don't have the money in hand yet. We just got the grant agreement this morning. So we're anxious to get rolling on this thing, as are the businesses. Some of them already are set up pretty well, but they could use
Joe,
any assistance.
is that
I'm sorry?
75,000 just for Newport or Newport Middletown?
No. We got $75,000.
Okay,
Newport, Middletown got $75,000.
okay,
Discover Newport received $66,000,
okay.
and it's primarily for to help out during restaurant week, mostly in terms of those blankets, those space age blankets that they give, those reflective blankets that they give out.
Right.
At marathons and the like. The Chamber of Commerce got some money that will be used for a job fair here in Newport, an outdoor job fair. Some money for other communities in the greater Newport area. Money for Innovate Newport that's going to be utilized for outdoor furniture. And some money for reimbursement to businesses that have already, prior to the Take It Outside initiative, had already gone out and purchased some supplies and goods in anticipation of extending the season. There is a second round of applications that are due October 8th. We are already in that second round as a carryover since we had requested $150,000. And quite frankly, we could use the money and the businesses could use the assistance. So I'm hopeful that there'll be some money left over in this second round. And indeed, perhaps the state will consider more funding to help out here. The primary interest from businesses are heaters and tents, and that's exactly what we priced out in terms of use. So we'll see how far the money stretches. I may be back to you sooner than later to ask whether we could participate in that in some small manner, depending upon how we feel the allocation is going. We'd like to help out everyone, but we'll see how far those dollars go.
Yeah,
Joe,
good job for you and Sean Brown from Middletown. Good job.
The application process that you talked about that you're developing for the businesses, what's the timeline on when you want them to have their applications in?
Well, it's more of a, we have represented, this is a quick turnaround. I don't recall what we put up on what we're posting in terms of a turnaround, but we're getting all the applications to all those places that we reached out, not only through general media, but that we sent out an email blast to when we visited those businesses that have expressed interest. We have put in the application, it's a first come, first serve process. So it says, get your stuff in, because again, there's, $75,000 is not going to go that far when you think about it. I think I would count the number of inquiries that I've had from, retail / restaurants to be somewhere in the neighborhood of at least 15. We have a little book about who's made the inquiry, and assuming everyone has a reasonable request, we're going to help them out in a small way, because if we were equitable across the board, again, the money isn't going to stretch that far. And as I said, I'd like to see more from the state. It could be a decent program. And again, considering what we did with outdoor restaurants primarily. At the beginning of this, we were able to work with, I think 60 restaurants and setting them up in some type of way to allow them to take advantage of the outdoor space that otherwise they would not have been able to take advantage of. And again, they are limited indoors to 66% of capacity. And for some of these smaller places, that's not much. So in terms of numbers. So hopefully the program will grow a bit when the governor and Commerce Rhode Island see the need, because there's a lot of need out there. Any questions? Oh, thank you, Angela. I wanted to mention, just follow up on a question that Jamie had last week about Halloween. We are sponsoring an event down at the beach. The details are still being developed. It's kind of a drive-through trick-or-treating program. The Reopening Rhode Island has on their website tips for a safer Halloween, which we will be publishing probably within the next few days. And it's no different than what I iterated to you last week about, stay at home if you're sick and don't hand out candy. The obvious things: keep your group small as possible, use sanitizer, do it outside as much as you can. And then the 3 W's that they're referring to in there: hand out, wear a mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. And, trick-or-treating tips, you leave the indoor, quite frankly, in my career, I didn't think I'd be talking about trick-or-treating tips, but here we are. You leave the individually wrapped goodie bags at least 6 feet from your door. It's for kids to grab and go. We'll see how that works out. I'd grab the whole tray. Go trick-or-treating. Yeah, go trick-or-treating with your children to make sure they do it safely. That's very important. Always been important. And then they talk about Halloween-themed activities. So it's actually a one-page handout. It's actually done pretty well. So we'll be posting that on our website and pushing out some information on that. That's about all I had today. Justin, when you happened to step away, I talked about masks, and I was on the tail end, I think, of the numbers, which, knock on wood, it looks like we did pretty well last week with only one uptick, and recognizing the inconsistency in the data that I've been talking about all along. But we should be pleased with that. Hopefully it's attributable to some of the small things that we're doing.
Joe, I just want to jump in. I heard Charlie Baker say something last night apropos to trick-or-treating. The more you can push activity outdoor, the more you decrease indoor parties. And that's why they're pushing it in Massachusetts. It's maybe not intuitive, but we want to encourage more outdoor activities so they don't have parties inside.
Yeah, across the board. That's an excellent point. Across the board. And we're all amateur epidemiologists by now, so we can see some things that are so important, not only now, but going forward until we get out of the woods on this. And one of them is obviously the outdoor activity. If you're going to have an activity, have it outdoors. Because we know from comments from Governor Baker and others, and from the epidemiologists, what the risk is indoors. So that's all I have today. I know at least one of you is short on time anyways. So unless there's some questions, which I'm more than happy to entertain, or any other topic you'd love to talk about right now, that's what I have.
I'm all set.
I'm all set.
Yeah.
Happiness.
Seems like everyone is. So thank you, Joe, for keeping us all healthy.
Okay, watch out for the wind. It's going to kick up.
Yeah.
What time?
Right now, Gene.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm looking out my window, nothing.
It's going to kick up, don't worry. Okay, take care.
All right. Good night.